Crossing Together, your guide to road tripping south of the border. Chapter 2. Paris Awakening. My journey from corporate America, after working for a major aerospace corporation for 17 years, took an unexpected turn when I finally had a wake-up call. It all started with a trip to Paris, France, that I planned with 9 other women as a tribute to my mother, who had once traveled through Europe herself. That trip wasn't just a vacation. It opened my mind and soul in ways I didn't expect. I realized, standing there in the streets of Paris, that my life needed a serious change. I was single, no kids, and it felt like my consciousness was evolving in real time. That experience made me see things differently, and it became clear that it was time for me to stop coasting through life and start making decisions that really meant something to me. It was like Paris woke me up to all the possibilities I'd been ignoring for years. In 2017, right after coming back from my trip to Europe, I returned to work only to be hit with some bad news. I was going to be put on a performance management plan, PMP. The IT division of the company was going through an acquisition, and as a technical recruiter, I was already overloaded. The industry standard for a requisition load was around 40 positions, but I had 100 to fill. I was completely burned out, and before my trip, I had even asked for help. They assigned a senior-level recruiter to cover my desk while I was on vacation. But when I got back, they told me my work had suffered and that my clients had lost confidence in me. I was given a strict timeline to clean up my work or face getting fired. At that point, I had just had enough. I wrote to Human Resources, laying out all the issues, favoritism, harassment, and the way I was being treated unfairly. The very next day, my manager called and asked me what I wanted. They knew I was setting the stage to sue them. I had seniority, I was in a protected class, and I was just 3 years away from retirement. They realized they were playing with fire. I was ready for a change, so I went in with my guns blazing. I asked for a layoff, severance, and to have my exit date moved up. I couldn't wait to get out of what felt like a corporate plantation. During my exit interview, I couldn't help but laugh. It was a virtual call, and the silence on the other end was priceless. With $40K in severance, I started my nonprofit, ODOS Synergy Services, Women of Color Global Entrepreneur Network. The mission was to advocate for underserved and underrepresented Black women who didn't qualify for government grants. I partnered with the SBA, SBDC, and the Department of General Services, and put together 2 incredible economic development conferences. And then COVID hit. As the pandemic dragged on, I realized I needed more than just a change of career. I needed a new environment altogether. I had outgrown everything around me, my ecosystem, my lifestyle, even myself. The house, the car, the social circle. It all felt superficial and no longer aligned with who I had become. I decided it was time to relocate to Mexico. I was ready for a fresh start. I bought a one-way plane ticket to Mexico, arriving in Cancun with nothing but 5 suitcases. My destination, Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I chose Playa del Carmen because I was ready to look out on some sandy beaches while sipping on a cool margarita. I had done my homework and I knew I could afford to live there comfortably with my pension and Social Security. What I found there was so much more than affordability. I found a community of brave souls who, just like me, ignored the naysayers and were on their own adventures. Shortly after my bold decision, there I was, free in Mexico. On my birthday, April 22nd, I celebrated in a way I never could have imagined. 16 women showed up to join me on the rooftop of my condo. They were a mix of expats, a few remote workers, and some tourists. Together, we had an unforgettable time, sharing laughter and stories, and truly embracing the freedom of this new chapter in my life. I will always remember that special day. So what happens next? Keep listening to find out. Click on the link for Chapter 3 where I make the case for having a car in Mexico. Let's go.